And we are live. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, good evening, whatever time it may be in your neck of the woods. And I would like to thank you for stopping by to watch this live stream. If you're watching it recording, I hope you also enjoy it. But you can always put questions down in the comment section of whatever platform you happen to be watching it, and we will get those answered to you. Today we're going to be talking about drilling and developing a well. This is the first phase of it. Usually it takes about a day of hard work of getting that done. But this is what you do before you install a pump, before you install solar panels, the tank, and all that kind of stuff. As we've been talking about the modern water well system. So this is just about what everybody does to drill a well. So this is the basic drilling features. Uh, so let's kind of walk through that, and then on tomorrow I will show you a little video of all these steps, and actually you can get a chance to see it in person. The video wouldn't upload today, so I had to, we're just gonna wing it. So first step you do is you go through and determine where you're going to drill. That is what we would say selecting a site. Selecting a site, for most time we look at where is it positioned in the village. We want to be maybe, if we're going to do two wells there, we want to be where nobody would have to walk about the same distance. People will have to walk about the same distance no matter where they are in the village. If we only drill in one well, we'll put it somewhere in the center of the village. Uh, or and we would also keep it away from any houses. Also, we would look at trees. Since we're going to know we're going to be putting solar panels up, we don't want trees blocking the sun in any kind of way. So that's the only thing that we look at is distance from the people, equal distance or from the village, and also not near any trees so that it will block the sun. So once we got the site selected, we could do that the morning of, or we can do that the day before. But that's just basically looking at it, getting with the village chiefs to make sure he agrees with that. And in some cases, we will stress to him this is where we want the water well is, because sometimes they have alternative of ulterior motives of want to put it near their house or something like that. So after we get the site selected, so let's say we'll do that early in the morning. The next step we will start doing for our drilling preparation. And when we're doing the drilling preparations, we will, at that point in time, we will put the truck where it's supposed to be over the selected spot that we're going to put it at. We will also put, at that point, we can start digging our uh, holding tanks. And this is in the ground because we mix up a drilling solution. So we use uh, two tanks, in the ground, and they usually will hold about 2 cubic meters of, of drilling solution each. So that's about 4,000 liters, a little over 4,000 liters. And so we will mix up a drilling solution to put in those holes. The solution will not evaporate, will not seep into the soil, because that's the purpose of the drilling solution, is to block the hole as we're drilling so that it doesn't allow our drilling solution to go out. And also it makes what we say would be a cake that goes down. So it makes almost like a permanent, uh, semi-permanent hole in the ground. So once we got this drilling solution in there, then we'll put on the drilling stem, and then we will actually start drilling. Beforehand, we would kind of guess at how deep we need to go by looking at where the water sources that they're currently getting from, whether that is it's a long ways off and potentially deep, or if it's kind of would be our average depth was about 42 meters, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 130 feet deep. So we would select out how many pipes that we need to drill, and we would start drilling. We would drill, and once we get to that depth, we would, pull all the pipes up out of the ground, the drilling pipes out of the ground, and then we would install what we call a casing. The casing is a plastic PVC pipe. At the bottom of it, you would put a screen, which is almost equivalent to a screen door or something. But what it is holes in the slits in the pipe in the PVC that allows in water, but we want it not to be wide open. You want it to be, let in the water, but try to keep as much dirt and sand out of it as possible. So you put the casing all the way down to the bottom. So if you drill 130 feet, you would have to put down 130 feet of casing down there. When the bottom part of it would be maybe 10 or 15 feet of actual screen where the water will come in. This is not scientific because you don't know exactly at that point where the water is at. You just based on what you've done in the past, whether you drill a well in that village, whether you've seen something that indicates this is what you're going to try. So once you put in the casing and put that down in the hole, it will go down in the hole. You may drill a 8-inch diameter hole, and you put in this 5-inch casing down. You would put some centering pieces on it to center it in the middle, so it won't be against the outside walls of your 8-inch hole. And so you have some annular space. Because this annular space is good, because the next step is most critical, is when you're pouring the filter pack down in it. You take and you're pouring some pebbles, small pebbles down in there, and you want to fill up above where the water comes in, the screen level. So if you got 15 feet of screen where the water comes in, you want to put in enough gravel, the pebbles, to cover up that whole area, because that also helps blocks out the sun. I mean, it blocks out the sand. And so as you putting that in, you based on how many layers of screen you put in, you can kind of estimate pretty much, how much gravel you have to put in. So you estimate how much gravel you're going to put in, and then you start just pouring it down in the hole, and eventually it will wash itself down to where the screen is located at. Once you got in your gravel pack and everything, at that point you can start what we call developing. Some people develop it manually, where they take a more or less a tubular bucket and drop down into the hole. And what you're doing at that point in time is you're pumping out all this drilling solution that may be still in the hole inside the casing at this time, because it's come through the bottom, come through the screen, and now it's inside your casing. So what you want to do is to is to pump, is to hand dip all that out. Or in the case, what we do, we use a compressor and we blow it all out. And eventually, you will get to the point where clean water is coming into the casing, and this is going to be your source of water. So you keep pumping, blowing it out with the air compressor, or you dipping it out, and then eventually it will clear up and become almost drinkable at that point in time. And you can, at that point that you've hit water. Uh, and finally, once you get it all cleaned out and to a certain extent, what you would do is you would measure where the water is at. You know how much casing you put down, so you put in some uh, uh, a rope down there, and it goes to the bottom, and so you know where that's the bottom of the, and then you pull it up to it reaches the top of the water, and then that's your basically your static water level. So you can, your screen is how deep is your screen, how much water is in it, so you know whether you got at that point in time whether you got a good well. You want a lot of water in that pipe, in that casing, so that's the water that the pump is going to be pumping out, and it all depends on how fast it refills and also how deep it is. So at that point, you can kind of pat yourself on the back that you guessed correctly, that you were lucky, or whatever, and you can say you got a good well. And at that point in time, usually if you started early in the morning, it's late afternoon or early evening, and you call it a day because you did all the crucial things that you can do, and you've got semi-clear water coming out of it. There's no sand, there's no, discoloration in it, not that much discoloration, and also hopefully no sand is coming in. So you can call it a day, and you come. That's the end of your day, because the next day you would do will actually you would put in your solar pump, hook up panels to it, and you would actually start pumping it out. And then at that point, you can see how fast it pumps out, how much water you're getting out, and how clear it is, uh, and all those things that would be covered tomorrow after we kind of watch a brief video. But that's the kind of steps, about 7 steps you go through to kind of, and that's whether you're doing a modern well, whether you're going to put a hand pump on it, or whether you're going to put a solar pump, or whether you're going to put an electrical pump with a diesel generator, or you're going to put an electrical pump connected to the uh, grid. But that's the process that you would use to actually drill and develop a well. And so the next, step is to put what we would call those modern components on it: the solar panels, solar pump, a holding tank, and elevate it so that it will get the pressure so that you can uh, distribute it out, or you can have a holding tank that will be used when in the evening when the pump stops pumping, but people still have water. So thank you so much for stopping by today. And like I said, I'm sorry that we didn't get the video, wouldn't upload correctly. And we will do that and have that as a brief review tomorrow. And we will go on and talk about day 2, potentially day 3, when we're putting up the tower and putting all those modern convenience things that give you a modern uh, uh, water well at that point. So thank y'all very much, and we will talk to you later. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and be kind.